Welcome in to our Game of the Week reveal show. My name's Ethan Love, joined here with Sydney Wicker. A bit of a later time today. We announced it on the 6th, but we're going to get into the breakdown and everything. But we can start with last week, Sydney. How did your Friday Night Lights go?
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. I was at the Harker Heights Killeen game. Harker Heights just dominated that one early. It was their homecoming. I believe it was both schools' homecoming. It was definitely Harker Heights' homecoming. But yeah, it was just so fun. And Harker Heights just looked really good. I think any of the struggles that they faced early on in those two losses has only helped motivate them and has fueled them more. Obviously, they rule this district so far. They're the three-time district champs, so it doesn't take long for them to get back into rhythm and to know what their standard is around there. So I was out at that game, which was really good. I was supposed to do a double run and also go to Copper's Cove. They were taking on Bryan. Didn't end up making it. They were both 7:00 kickoffs, so it was just tough.
Those are always the toughest.
Sometimes you just have to call an audible,
when
and
it's,
so that's what happened there. But Madison was out at the Midway game. Midway Shoemaker. Obviously, Shoemaker was undefeated, and Midway handed them their first loss of the season. So what a game that was. I know Coach G was fired up. Him and his guys and Shoemaker, they're going to be motivated. I still think they're a really good football team. I think that really speaks to how tough this district is. They're so competitive. I say this every week, but I feel like every week we could have a game of the week from that district alone. They're just so good over there. So curious to see how Shoemaker bounces back. They take on Killeen this week. And then Midway, of course, they're going to take on Temple. That's going to be another good game going on. That was another close one that could have been a game of the week for us as well. So
yeah, definitely. We've been kind of focusing on rivalry games, and it's made these game of the weeks so much more exciting. And I'm kind of teasing to the fact that we're going to have that this week as well. We have our hype video ready here, Sydney, for our game of the week reveal this week.
Let's play it.
Yeah, let's just do it. You know it. Groesbeck, Mexia. This is one of the most hyped up rivalries I think that we cover all year. And it means more just because of the sign. And there's an actual tangible piece that goes with this rivalry, Sydney. It feels almost like a bit of like a collegiate rivalry. I just think, as a TCU guy, Iron Skillet, SMU, TCU,
For sure.
There's something tangible there on the line. Can you tell us a little bit more about this rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you add a trophy to the mix, it gives a little extra fuel to the fire to play for, because everybody wants not only the bragging rights, but to keep that trophy with them for the next 365 days. Mexia obviously comes into this one with the bragging rights, holding the Battle of the River sign, which we'll talk a little bit more about. But I think this is one of the coolest trophies that we've seen. It's awesome. There's so much history to it. It's an actual river sign. The Navasota River divides the two cities, which I think is so cool. So it's something that's close to them. These schools are about 20 minutes apart from each other, and the back of it is my favorite because it actually has the overall records. So they update this every time the team wins or loses. And gets to add another win to the column. And I think it's so special. But this is just one of the coolest pieces I've ever seen two teams battle for, and it's so unique. I'm actually going to be doing a story more on how the river sign got added to the rivalry. This has not been there since 1901 when the rivalry first kicked off. So I'll have that story coming up later this week just for anybody who wants to watch it. It's going to be really cool. But yeah, this is just such a historic game. Whether you live in Groesbeck or you live in Mexia, you talk about this game. There's only one time that it took a halt, and it was for about 5-6 years. They brought the rivalry back. I want to say it was 2021 or 22. So it's kind of new in its renewed rivalry. So during that stint of not playing each other, a lot of these guys didn't understand what the rivalry meant until just a couple of years ago when they started playing in it again. And both coaches have alluded to the fact that it's here, it's back, we know what it means. And for Groesbeck, they come into this one with new head coach Nelson Cordes, who has, not been a part of this rivalry, but has been told everything about it. And that's the thing I love about it. Whether you've played in it or coached in it, if you haven't seen it, you're going to hear about it. And it's going to be one of the first questions they ask you when you take the job or when you join the school. And that's exactly what head coach Nelson Cordes told me in our Coach's Corner interview this summer, is that, yeah, even though I haven't coached in it yet, I've heard a lot about it. And there's a lot of superstitions that come with it, too.
I've heard about it quite a bit. It's crazy from not being able to wear black and red together, or red can't touch black, because I like to wear, Under Armour pullover or whatever it is, and it's black, and they're like, you can't wear that, and I'm like, for what reason, and it's always fun, and everybody has one, and I think this one, is a lot of fun for both groups, and we want to hope that we're competitive in those environments and make sure that it keeps its rivalry and keeps its meaning.
Well, Ethan, I think my favorite part about that interview is when he goes, you got to be careful. You can't wear red on black. And it
goes down to the clothing.
It's so, superstitious, and it's funny because Mexia also has red in their school color. They're obviously red and black. Groesbeck is red and white. But this game is strictly a blackout game. They will not be wearing any red on Friday night. They've already said it's going to be a blackout game. They're not going to rock any red.
I got my red in our brand new vest.
It fits for both teams, I guess, here, whether you're Mexia or Groesbeck. Ethan's representing for everybody here in his new KCEN sports vest. But yeah, I think it's literally, it comes down to every little thing of how superstitious and real this rivalry is.
Yeah, and just kind of on the flip side, too, looking at Mexia, they did win this game last year 41-13, but they are 0-5 to start the year. How can they get back on track and continue to win this game this year as they did last year?
Yeah, something I think that was unique that Coach talked about at practice today is that his guys have been resilient. Despite being 0-5, his guys keep showing up. They keep staying tough. And he said, in order to get a win, we've got to stop letting self-inflicted wounds hurt us. We got to avoid any turnovers, avoid any mistakes or penalties down here. So that's been a really big focus for them this week in practice, is making sure they clean up those mistakes and that they go in head first, ready to attack each day and to compete. Although Groesbeck does have 2 wins, that doesn't mean anything to Mexia. This is a clean slate. Everybody is 0-0. District play kicks off. This is the best chance to kind of start over and get a fresh feeling under your feet and to kick things off the best way you know how, with your toughest rival and an opponent that it just means more when you play against them.
Yeah, Sydney, Mexia is going to look to get back on track here, and Groesbeck's going to look to even up their season record. But you mentioned this rivalry is so historic. 1901, that is a long time. Can you give us some history and some statistics here about the rivalry?
I mean, you're looking at a rivalry that's only been played a little over 80 times, but this stretches over 100 years. That's really unique and not something that you see very often. You mentioned it kicked off for the first time in 1901, and in this history, Mexia leads the overall record with 55 wins, Groesbeck with 24 wins and 3 ties overall. The longest streak ever in this rivalry was for 13 years, from 1999 to 2011. Mexia won every single game there. The rivalry, of course, the Navasota River sign that they battle for, which is just so cool. I will say, though, when the rivalry picked back up in 2022, Groesbeck won back-to-back years, getting an overtime victory in that first game of the renewed rivalry, 37-36, and then they won big time in 2023. So Mexia just won the River Sign back for the first time in a long time this last year when they won that game, 41-13. Both these coaches, though, know it's going to be an emotional one and know nothing's better than this rivalry in Central Texas.
Well, you want to say, oh, it's just another game, but obviously, it's a big game for our community, big game for their community too. So it's obviously just got a little bit more implications just because it is so close and it is that rivalry game. But, being that first district game is just as important as the rest of them.
It is big. When I got here, it's like, we weren't playing that game at that time. There was like a 7-year lull. And everybody's, people had talked about it, and then when I got to be a part of one, I was like, oh, okay, now you have an understanding. Until you've been in it, you don't understand it. I know every school in America's got a rival, and great. But I would put this one, it's one of the top 10 in the state for a reason.
Top 10 in the state, Sydney. That's some high praise.
Isn't it? When Coach said that, I was like, wow. I mean, getting to experience this game last year, I just remember like, wow, this is Texas football. Like, this is what it's about. It was a packed house at Groesbeck, such a fun environment, just like, you could feel how intense it was. And then once you saw Mexia steal the river sign from Groesbeck, like, it was just such a big deal that they got it back, and it means so much to both of these programs, and to have it back, even though it's only been back for a couple of years, it means everything to both these teams, to these coaches, whether they've been in it before or they haven't. Like, they know it's a big deal. So it's so special. I'm excited that this gets to be our game of the week, just from the history of it all. And, both teams kind of looking to really establish themselves at this point in the season, something they both feel like they're working towards right now. And I think this game could be a really big turning point for either teams. And they'll have the river sign, but they will also have our Game of the Week champion trophy.
Yes, Adrian will be out there as always.
Double the hardware for these teams when they go head-to-head on Friday. Kickoff is at 7. Yeah,
we'll be out there at 7, and we'll be out at a lot of other games too. I won't, because I'm off this Friday,
I know,
unfortunately.
I'm so bummed, Ethan. The biggest week of like high school
I know.
football,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
How are you gonna rock that new vest on the sidelines when you're off the first week we have
you can rock it for me on Friday. How about that?
I don't know about that. We will see.
But yeah, we have a lot of games lined up for Friday. In addition to our game of the week, and then we also have coverage this weekend. A&M, now number 5.
Can you believe it?
Hey, the almost Aggies are proving everyone wrong. I still reference that story almost
early.
Weekly.
It's still early.
It is still early, and Florida's a good team coming off a win against Texas.
Yeah.
But man, how bad does Texas look? We can get into that
we'll talk about it on KCEN Kickoff.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on KCEN Kickoff, which is tomorrow. Baylor does have a bye week before they play TCU in Fort Worth. Big rivalry game for them. They're going to have 2 weeks to prepare for it. And then Sunday Night Football is another great one. Lions, Chiefs, right here on KCEN. So we got a packed sports week for you in the football world. And I'm just very excited. I know you and our boss Jim are going to be excited to watch the Lions there on Sunday night.
I know. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of scared now that the Chiefs just lost to the Jags. Because now they're going to be like throwing out every play that they have in their book just to beat the Lions. So, but I'm excited to see what the Lions can do. So,
yeah, Sydney, just excited for the week and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But that's all I got for us this week. Already week 7. We'll be back next week with week 8 of our Game of the Week reveal. But until then, that's it. Thank you guys for watching.
Friday Night Lights Game of the Week is sponsored by Astound, Members Choice Credit Union, and Hillsborough Ford.